Hi, it's Tony here again from Estate Planning Solutions. Last 4 to 5 weeks I've put up 6 or 7 videos on LinkedIn or YouTube about the shocking state wills and estate planning is in Australia, giving you tons of examples and told you where to go Googling to check some of this stuff out. We've seen cases of high profile people who some of you be aware of having their wills challenged, and yet they had trusted advisors around them just that they were incompetent. There's no reason that those wills were needed to be challenged. They could have been totally avoided, but it wasn't done properly. I also sent you along to Google, how lawyers are advertising for business, and we covered it, and how it's become such big business. But this week is going to be the start of the journey for you to actually get it done right. So we're going to focus on you and walk you through over a ton of videos how to get this done properly. So basically you're going to fall into one of 5 categories. You're either like 40% of Australians and don't even have a will, or secondly you've had a will prepared by either public trustee or a trustee service, which is normally supplied by a large financial institution. You might have prepared a news agency will, or the big one, which most people have, which is the one that's most fraught with danger, is that you've rung up your local lawyer, or you've got a local lawyer, or you've sourced a local lawyer because it was cheap, and you've gone and got your will done there. Now, that won't cut it in today's world because they're not trained. Fifthly, you might be one of the few people, the rare ones, who have actually had their wills done by a proper qualified will and estate planning specialist, of which there's only 5,000 in the country, or actually less, to service our population. So it's very much underdone, hence the need for these sort of videos to get people educated in what they should be doing. But going back to our friends the lawyers, fact is that since 1994 in Australia, not one lawyer has had to compulsorily learn wills and estate planning as part of their degree. That's right, that is fact. And the thing is that here's the problem, is that you see the sign that says lawyer, or I see the sign that says lawyer, and we think, oh yeah, well they can do the will. Yeah, unfortunately they're allowed to. I don't know why, because they're not qualified. So sadly as it is, for those of us who've got a will done by a lawyer, and we've got assets starting to build, we might have superannuation was quite substantial, life insurance, it might have a self-managed fund, we might have disgruntled families in our disgruntled members of our family, we might be estranged from some of our family, might want to leave $1 or $2 only to someone in the family. Those wills done by your local lawyer won't cut it in this world today, especially if it's likely to meet a challenge. So the best way to help you focus on what I've just said about public trustee or trustee services are not good enough, news agency will is not good enough, GP lawyer, local lawyer is not good enough, is this example. When I speak publicly, I ask the question to the crowd, could you please raise your hand as to who may have been to a medical specialist in their life? And of course a number of people put their hand up. Then I'll ask one of the people who put their hand up as to what happened. And in this situation, the example I'm going to give you, a lady had a skin cancer on her hand that her GP doctor identified, and he wrote out a referral for her to go and see a skin specialist. So I asked her, why did you go to the specialist? She said, oh, because my GP told me to. I said, well, why didn't you let your GP just cut it out and you go home? She said, well, he's not qualified and he doesn't have the skills, so he had to send me to somebody who's trained and does it all the time. And I said, thank you for that answer, because that same answer applies to wills and estate planning in this country. It's not for GPs to put their hand in, it's for specialists only. And the proof, I've given it to you in the previous videos, the challenges, the problems, the court costs, the stress to families, the fighting, and it all came from only one reason: they're done wrong. So why were they done wrong? They were done wrong because the person who put them together wasn't competent or trained. So that's it for this week. I want you to just focus on your own situation and have a think about where you fit in those 5. And if you're one of the lucky ones that have been to a specialist, good on you. Next week we're going to talk about why, if you're separated or somebody you know separated, needs to really get their will attended to quickly.